Welcome to Worcester, Massachusetts, the second most populated city in New England, otherwise known as the heart of the Commonwealth. Since the turn of the 19th century, Worcester began manufacturing in innovative factories producing a number of products to sell regionally, with increased production happening after the opening of the Blackstone Canal in 1829, turning it into a hub and major center for transportation industry. Now, we must improve Worcester by cleaning remnants of contamination left by previous industry to create a healthier and safer city. Since the origin of the Brownfield program in Massachusetts, hundreds of thousands of historic and current industrial, residential, commercial, or otherwise active properties across the country have been found to be contaminated. Unfortunately, many owners have abandoned these sites due to fear of unknown contamination conditions or financial barriers to cleanup. Chapter 21E of Massachusetts General Law states its own action plan for brownfield sites in the state, known as the Massachusetts Contingency Plan, or the MCP. The MCP authorizes the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, or the MassDEP, to regulate identification, evaluation, and cleaning procedures for contaminated sites. However, the MassDEP's role is only to provide assistance to the cleanup process itself. In a city under redevelopment like Worcester, the cleanup of brownfield sites offers economic leverage to the community by offering public and private use of the site, raising property values, promoting job growth, as well as adding aesthetic value to the city. Additionally, successful cleanup of brownfields mitigates risk to public health and the environment. Today, we are profiling an important brownfield site, the Worcester Regional Transit Authority Maintenance and Operations Facility on 42 Quinsigamond Avenue. The site serves the city of Worcester and the surrounding 36 communities, offering important transportation maintenance that keeps our businesses, schools, and daily life in motion. The site stands in a varied neighborhood in proximity to a recreational park, businesses, regional buildings, as well as industrial equipment storage facilities. The property was owned by the Commonwealth Gas Company, a coal gas manufacturing facility producing and storing tar byproducts until the 1960s. Waste from gas manufacturing, oil storage, and tar distillation operations have led to various types of OHM contamination. Jonathan Church, administrator of the WRTA, gives us an overview of the site's history and transformation.
The main benefits, I think, of cleaning this brownfield site is that it was dormant use for over 50 years. What was here previously was a manufactured gas plant, which was a process where they would take coal and burn it to get the gas out of it, and then the leftover coal tar was then disposed of on site. And when the facility, which operated from 1870 to 1969, became finished, basically what they did was they cut everything off at the line and buried it. So the site was not used for years. The neighborhood across the street in the park knew it wasn't years. There was issues with flooding in the road and drainage coming off of this site. So when the WRTA needed to have a new maintenance facility, this was a site that was looked at in terms of its proximity to Union Station, which is where we have our main transfer hub, as well as cleaning the site and putting a use on it that was consistent with the area zoning, particularly because Quinsigamond Ave out front here is a gateway road into the city of Worcester. The information that the WRTA got from the previous owner, NSTAR Eversource, estimated that we would have about a $1 to $2 million cleanup, and where the estimated the coring samples were for contamination. However, once we got onto the site and started clearing the site to build the foundation for the building, we found a lot more contamination, and by the end of it, the cost was up to $19 million to clean up the site. We removed 90,000 tons worth of contaminated coal tar soil. We found everything from benzene to arsenic to quite a number of other toxic chemicals that were on the site within the soils that required us to not only require special transport off the site and transport to a special facility in New York, but we also worked very closely with DEP to have all the monitoring done, including odors that may affect the neighborhood, and make sure that we had odor control pieces on site to do that, as well as safety precautions as required by DEP and federal EPA.
Following the MCP timeline, early risk reduction measures and preliminary data on the site were gathered first in Phase 1. The licensed site professional then examined the site and found many likely sources of contamination. The most appropriate cleanup strategies were then assessed and the treatment plans were implemented. Remediation activities included excavating contaminated soil, reusing some soil, treating contaminated soil, installing a vapor mitigation system, and engineering a barrier to block coal vapors from entering nearby utilities. Currently, the new WRTA maintenance and operations facility has not reached the final phase of cleanup because some cleanup is still underway.
The sources of funding for the cleanup were all through the state DOT. We had also had $2.2 million started off with from DOT, and then the remaining $17 million also came through DOT through another fund. So it was all used with state funds. We couldn't use any federal funds for cleanup, which we did put federal funds into the construction of the building. But all that was done with state funds for cleanup. The only thing I say is that working with DEP has been, in the central office particularly, has been very helpful throughout this. I think, for my own personal purposes, I wouldn't have known what else to do. And we had certainly licensed site professionals that were here to help us, and working with DEP made it a real big process. And we really cleaned up a really tough site, not only in the city of Worcester, but the region that had been an environmental issue for a long time. And now it's a safe area where people can actually work and enhance the neighborhood.
The results are phenomenal. The new high-tech and fully functional facility currently houses dozens of repair stations, quality automotive and plumbing equipment, and a number of electric charge stations and offices. The facility maintains and repairs vehicles transporting residents and visitors to work, school, and recreation, keeping Worcester and the surrounding 36 communities in motion every day. In this video, we have learned that the longer PRPs wait to clean contamination, the more risks they pose to the environment, public health, and financial cost. Furthermore, we have learned that there are many positive benefits from cleaning contaminated property and issuing them into the Brownfields program. With the help from state grants, loans, and tax credits, formerly abandoned property can be restored for healthy and economically lucrative use for the community and provide many positive benefits for the environment.